everyone, and welcome to a new edition of I Hate Sundays, the retarded version of the Philip DeFranco show, where we only cover entertainment-related indie shit. And let's just jump into it. Anyway, what the fuck is up with the Academy not letting Tommy go to the Oscars? Look at this innocent face. How can it lie? I mean, why? What the fuck is your problem? I mean, just look at the situation. We have a movie about Tommy Wiseau's life nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay, which is based on a book written by Greg Sestero. And you guys aren't inviting them to the Oscars? What the fuck is that? Well, Tommy has been giving all his efforts to make it. He's been tweeting his little ass off. Let's just take a look at some of his tweets. First attempt was, "Oh hi Oscars. Can Greg and I be invited to see if his New York Times best-selling book about my life story creating The Room movie wins an Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay? I promise not to grab the mic if we win." This goes on with, "To the Academy members, would you like to invite Greg and I as your date to the Oscars?" And that goes on with, "Looks like no Oscars for Greg and I, even though the life story is up for the Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay for Greg's book, The Disaster Artist. Maybe next year for Best Friends." Oh, that is so sad. You guys are such heartless bullies at the Academy. Then he actually went to talk to Mark Hamill personally. "Oh, hi, Mark. Use the Force and get Greg and I into the Oscars." And, Mark Hamill was actually so cool to write back. He said, "Oh, hi, Tommy. Wish I could help you, but I can't even get extra Oscar tickets for my kids. I really owe you, since now whenever people greet me, I get to hear the quote from The Room. Plus, if you saw Last Jedi, you'd know. Spoiler alert, I turned off the Force." I really just think that the Academy are being big bullies because Tommy and Greg have made a very big impact this year in the cinema world, and generally, The Disaster Artist would have been nominated for Best Director and Best Actor, maybe even Best Picture, if James Franco had kept his dick in his pants. And I'm just gonna say it right off. The only people who are suffering because of James Franco's inappropriate behavior, the only ones who are really getting trashed, are Tommy and Greg. Because James Franco, he's going to recover from this. This doesn't seem to be that big of a deal that it blows up like it did for Kevin Spacey or Harvey Weinstein. But it does blow up to the point that The Disaster Artist gets a lot less Oscar nominations than one would have actually expected it to. So James Franco will go on and make movies, and the only ones who totally have to suffer from this and don't really get the recognition they deserve, even though they didn't do anything wrong at all, are Tommy and Greg. So fuck you, Academy. That's really some nasty shit. So, like every year, the night before the Oscars, there's another award presented to the world. And no, I'm not talking about the Spirit Awards. No, I'm talking about that very fine award called the Razzie. For those of you who don't know, the Razzie is always given to the worst films and worst performances of the year. And let's take a look who won. So first award we're looking at here is the award for Worst Supporting Actor. And looking at this, who would I give the award to? A lot of people I don't really give much of a shit about this year. I just don't want Anthony Hopkins to get it. I like Anthony Hopkins. He's a good guy. Either Russell Crowe or Mel Gibson. Like, they suck. Let's find out.
Mel Gibson takes the first Razzie for
Yay!
Daddy's Home 2.
I didn't see Daddy's Home too. Now let's take a look at the worst supporting actress. Snatched was a really shitty movie, but I don't know if I'd go as far and give Goldie Hawn the Razzie for worst supporting actress. I'd rather see Kim Basinger take it away with 50 Shades Darker because, god damn it, 50 Shades Darker was hell. Both good old Matt and I had to sit through. Please, Kim, take this for me. Yay! Now it's time for worst screenplay. Let me think. This one should either go to the Emoji Movie or to 50 Shades Darker. But I would tend to move to the Emoji Movie because in 50 Shades Darker, there was at least some effort in trying to adapt that god-awful original book into a somewhat worthy screenplay. So, let's hope Emoji Movie gets this.
The Emoji Movie.
Yes! 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 And now we get to Worst Director. Even though 50 Shades Darker was pretty awful, I wouldn't give it to James Foley. Nah, he's done some other things that aren't that bad. He doesn't deserve it. Anthony Tony Leondis? Yeah, he probably deserves that. He probably totally deserves that, but I'd much rather go to Darren Aronofsky or Michael Bay. They are just truly awful. Maybe Darren Aronofsky even more than Michael Bay because he's such a religious little cunt. And Michael Bay is just annoying. I hope Darren Aronofsky takes this.
Tony Leondis for the Emoji Movie.
Who, me?
What's he doing? He's making noise.
Oh, second pick. I'm happy with that too.
Always features reprocessed product.
Well, now it's time for remake, ripoff, or sequel.
The winner is a film.
It's actually an award that I would like to see in its best version at the Oscars. Let's see what we got here.
Features reprocessed product labeled anything but fresh. The winner is a film.
I would actually go with 50 Shades Darker here. Definitely. The Mummy sucked too, by all means. So did Baywatch. I really didn't. Boo Tube sort of passed me by. And I care too little for Transformers to even, like, bother thinking about it getting an award in the first place. So let's see.
Peter Travers of Rolling Stone called softcore swill that's hardcore awful. 50 Shades Darker.
Yeah! Oh, I'm loving these Razzies this year.
Hollywood proves once again that recycling
So far, pretty much they're getting all of my little predictions right almost. Or my second choices. Now it's time for a worst screen combo. 2017's worst screen combo. I would so give this to 50 Shades Darker. Like, I mean, I think this movie was born for worst screen combo. The entire trilogy, actually.
Any two obnoxious emojis in
Oh!
the emoji.
Yeah. I might have wanted 50 Shades would have probably been the better one, but this makes a lot of sense too. There was nothing wrong there. The Emoji Movie really was painfully awful. Now let's take a look at the worst actor. Jesus Christ, they nominated Tom Cruise. You know, Tom Cruise may suck in many ways, but he does the one thing that he can do is act. Like, he might be an awful person. He might be a little Scientology twat, but he can act. Johnny Depp, he's a great actor generally. I wouldn't give it to him. Jamie Dornan is in a really shitty film, but he doesn't deserve the award for worst actor. Zac Efron isn't a bad actor either. I found him amazing in The Disaster Artist. Mark Wahlberg, oh come on. Maybe Mark Wahlberg. Like, get alone for what he did in The Happening. He deserves one Razzie for worst actor. Come on. Let's see Mark Wahlberg take this home.
Tom Cruise at last gets a Razzie for his role.
Oh well. It's the best of us sometimes. Well, he does deserve it as a person, so I'm not complaining. Oh. Worst actress now. Oh, I would love for this to go to Emma Watson. I would love. Because I think Emma Watson is just so fucking overrated. Dakota Johnson with her never-ending resting shit face would be a wonderful pick too, so... But I am going to go with Emma Watson. Even though Katherine Heigl annoys me too, I'd love to see Emma Watson take this. Oh, come on. Come on. Tyler Perry is just like so... Who cares? I don't care. Do you care? Nobody cares. Well, this is the first one I disagree with. The other ones deserve it more. I'm not saying that Tyler Perry is an especially good actress. No, I just think Katherine Heigl, Dakota Johnson, and Emma Watson are just much shittier. Now it's for the gold. Now the big one comes in. And as much as 50 Shades deserves this, I would seriously want the Emoji Movie to take this because that was just the biggest cancer the cinematic world could have experienced in all of 2017. Let's take a look. Yep.
The Emoji Movie.
Nothing else would have made sense.
That's it for this year's results. We'll see you again next year, and hope you enjoy that other award.
Yep, I enjoyed this year's Razzies. They were quite accurate, and there's only a few things I myself would have done differently. Okay, now just a quick overview of the things I've been checking out this week. I actually saw Hellraiser Judgement. It was just so unspectacular that I'm not even going to bother giving it a proper review. Something like Hellraiser Revelations is just so shitty that it actually deserves to be spat on. And with Hellraiser Judgement, I gotta say... That's how I feel about it. The thing is, I am not one of those people who think the Hellraiser started sucking shit after part 3, because a lot of people think that. I think Hellraiser started sucking shit after part 6. Because, like, Hellraiser somehow managed to keep everything campy and fun all the way up to part 6, and then after Deader, when Hellworld and so on came about, it was just boring and didn't really have anything to do with the original Hellraiser universe to begin with. And then Revelations was just taking a piss. And this was like the first attempt to make something better. And they did succeed in making something better. But it's still not on par with the first 6 Hellraisers. It's like worse than the first 6 Hellraisers, but better than the last 3 Hellraisers. So what you get is just like this mediocre piece of shit. So like you have a plot that really sucks. You do have some nice imagery, some very nice effects going on in this. That is what's creative, but the storyline just didn't cut it. The only good actor in this was the guy who played Pinhead. I don't even know his name. It's not Doug Bradley. It's some new Pinhead. He was alright, but everybody else sucked. What's his name? Paul T. Taylor. Yeah, you were alright, Paul T. Taylor. And to the rest. A TV show I would recommend you guys all need to check out is the TV series reboot of Heathers. It is, I think, the best TV series I have seen since Scream Queens. I really recommend it to all of you guys. It is incredibly fun. It has that campy, high schooly, horror-ish theme going on. A lot in the vein of things like Jawbreaker or Tragedy Girls. Wonderful little show. Just don't expect it to be much like the original Heathers film from the 80s, because then you will probably be disappointed. And I do think it wasn't a good idea to call the show Heathers in the first place. But with that being said, this is a great show. Okay, guys, I look like shit. I need to shave, I need to shower, I need to get ready. I've been sick for the last 4 days, dying with a cold. It's a miracle that we got you the third London Void over here. And, please watch it. I think it may be my favorite edition of the London Void. You get some new Q&As with Greg Sestero and Tommy Wiseau. You get a review of the Book of Mormon in this. This is one hell of an episode. So I am going to get ready. I'm going to shower because tonight we got the Oscars and we're shooting an Oscars episode. And this week, I promised you guys that last week you would get 2 episodes in 1 week. I couldn't do that because I was sick. But that's what you're getting, though, that this week we will have an Oscar episode coming at you, and finally that long-awaited Fantasy Film Fest White Nights episode. We've been promising you guys for like over a month now. Be sure to look forward to that, and I will see you soon.